Yo, what's up guys? It's Parnellyx, and in today's video we're playing Warwick mid versus Humanoid on Victor. And also keep in mind this was Humanoid the night before he just freaking popped off in a week 1 at Worlds. So he was definitely in form here. And yeah, Victor's always a matchup on Warwick that I feel like is usually pretty manageable by me. I think my win rate versus him is actually pretty good. But it can be a little bit tricky at times, depending on how the Victor plays it. And Humanoid, without a doubt, has the best Victor I've ever played versus. This guy's, like, spacing in lane was kind of unreal. I couldn't believe how much poke I was taking, while at the same time, like, he just felt like he was, like, I couldn't get onto him. So this man is just kind of built different, to say the least. But my early approach to laning versus Victor is always to try to get the early crash. I really messed up. I really messed up right here by allowing the wave to be positioned in this manner, not really getting the crash in time. And it just meant that I had this awkward position where I missed some yes. Luckily though, Humanoid, I technically get a solo kill because of the fact that he greeted on me. He flashed into melee range of a Warwick, and you don't do that, as you guys know. It's technically a solo kill, although it's really just him making a mistake. So I won't, you know, get too big of an ego from that. But really good spot for me. I'm up 11-6 in CS. I got the wave bouncing back. This Sejuani is trying to kill me here, but I do manage to get away just in time. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. But yeah, we're in a pretty good spot right here. The only really concern here that I actually have in this lane position is the fact that I do have a freeze potentially setting up, but Sejuani's here. I am low HP, and I have no sums. So my mindset here, really, I think right here I'm trying to freeze too much. This is a huge problem. I'm trying too hard to contest this wave. I need to let the wave just come. I need to just let it come, because now I'm getting really chunked. And I'm at this point where now Sejuani is actually threatening a dive. And I can try to hover my Victor, but I got so many minions here. And without any sums, you know, surviving a dive here is going to be pretty hard. And here comes Sejuani, like I said. And I just die. So really big mistake in my part right there. I was really kind of upset that Graves didn't actually come to protect the dive. But at the end of the day, I definitely put myself in a poor position. And ended up missing a wave for that. Yeah, see, I'm like kind of flaming my Graves here, even though I do know that it's obviously partially my fault. Graves definitely should have came to defend the dive, but I also could have just missed a couple CS and safely collected all those minions later on. So it's supposed to be in an awkward spot. The wave is slow pushing back into this Victor. And I do know that Sejuani is still somewhat around. That's blue tree, or that blue plant from Graves helps out a little bit. Gives me some breathing room to work with. I also don't know where their support is. So right here, I'm just trying to crash this wave in ASAP. And then I want to look for a ward. This positioning by me is very sketchy though. This is very sketchy. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of inting here. I know I don't die off of that, but I just saw Sejuani topside recently, and like I don't need to rush the crash is the thing. I should be looking to ward for safety first, and then, you know, focus on the crash. So actually, you know, like I said, you know, Humanoid definitely put a lot of pressure on me, and his spacing was great. But man, I am doing a lot of this to myself right here. I think I'm not necessarily nervous laying against Humanoid, but it definitely is like I don't want to play like, I guess I'm impatient. I'm trying to, you know, play in a way to kind of prove myself, but that's not optimal play. I should just play optimally, and then like the actual like results will just kind of come in after the fact. Oh yeah, right here, biggest misplay of my freaking life here. So this Victor is, I'm trying to say, I'm in a great position. This man is he's got no health. I got barrier up, and the wave is bouncing back. I have a dream situation here with this freeze here. All I need to do is just try to sustain, survive, and he just won't be able to bully me out here. So I need to hit these minions a little bit more. He actually ults here for a little bit of pressure. No big deal. So I think he's And then I realized he has enough mana for E. So I didn't barrier. I thought this man was I thought this man was And I flamed my Graves for not coming. And again, Graves should have came, but I also did mess up. So I'm coping a little bit here. Both things can be true. Both things can be true. Graves should come mid, and also I should just not die there ever. I really threw the lane there. That is such a catastrophic failure by me to actually die in that situation. That really can't be understated. I mean, the one thing to consider as well, because he's ulting me and thus ulting the wave, he's hitting all these minions, so he's pushing the wave even more, which means that I don't have to be light on the minions to maintain my freeze. I can just hit as many minions as I like to stay alive. I should be constantly hitting the wave there. I should be willing to use barrier, and I should be paying attention to his mana pool a little bit more, because my focus there should not be at the should not be on anything other than surviving. Surviving is my entire goal and purpose in that situation, and I just win the lane if that happens. If he gets frozen on there, he is completely screwed because he has no teleports. I don't know if he has flash. I can't really remember. But actually, yeah, he has no flash. And I would be up like 30 CS in humanoid, and probably a level. That's how much of a you know, that's how crazy that is. Right there, I walk up, I take free poke. I'm trying to like walk up and get an XP range. This is something that humanoid was notably great at when I'm laning versus him, is he recognizes XP range and last hit range and really well. So he's always going to try to punish anytime I try to do it. He wants to make sure I miss everything, not just the last hits, but also the XP. And he's prepared to deal with that. I'm over here. I'm just kind of in a really tough spot. I'm trying to just sustain as much as I can. But we got Graves here, so I just ult just to heal a little bit. Use my barrier preemptively. And this man still lives. This man holds flash to the bitter ends. That was another thing about humanoid that was great. Is this he definitely he saves his summoner spells for when he really needs it. That is something I do, except for I sometimes just don't use it when I need to, which is kind of bad. But I'm a big fan of the idea of really trying to maximize the value of spells. Karma comes in here for a roam. I managed to flash out in time. That's a victory TP. And I think in this situation, I just need a recall. I look at the wave mid. There's not really many minions to collect here. There's a cannon and 2 minions. And I already know it's not even going to crash in time. So this gives me plenty of time to actually recall. Fill up my mana and health a little bit. Get a giant spell. And now I can play the lane a lot safer. But yeah, so far this lane is definitely going in his favor. I mean, yeah, he's up 20 CS. He's up 20 CS in a matchup that is really even. This is definitely an even matchup, I'd say. Warwick versus Victor. And I tend to play this matchup very well. So it's usually like more in my favor. But I'm making a lot of key greeds. And I'm really just greeting the wave a lot. I'm greeting the wave is kind of the main source of my problem here. And that really is a lot of my problems with Warwick in general, is I greed the wave too much. If I don't greed the wave too much, I'll die a lot less. And yeah, I mean, I guess really my problem is like, and my mindset issue there is that I'm trying to get the most value out of like I'm trying to make every wave a game-winning play. I'm trying to make every situation a game-winning play. I mean, damn, I'm down 2 levels right here. This is not going well. But every play is not going to be a game-winning play. Sometimes you need to just avoid making a game-losing play. And that's a mindset shift that really needs to happen with me, because I definitely make this mistake way too often. Trying to sustain off this wave the best I can. Hoping that maybe Graves can come and kind of help save me here. He walks into alt range. Critical mistake there of humanoid. And this dude survives freaking again, man. That fear though was kind of fire, you know, no cap. Love to see it. So we do end up getting a free kill in the end. We don't get it on the Victor, which is kind of annoying for me as I'm trying to fix my wave here. And this man is literally 1 HP, but it's impossible to chase him down because he's got the Karma right there to help. So I just want to try to like distract the Karma here. That's my goal. See, my teammates are looping around. I want to try to keep them here. I want to keep Victor here. I want to keep Karma here. And as a result, I do manage to go up and kill the Victor, because he greeds right there. He greeds really hard. Karma greeds. but I'm able to punish that. So I greeted twice, got punished. Well, actually, we both greeted twice. Me and Victor both, but that's literally all of the kills in this lane have come from greed, quite literally. But his, I think my deaths were more punishing, just because of like the timing of the deaths was really bad. Like I said, I held that second death especially. I held like the first death wasn't so punishing. The second death was really bad because I could have ended the lane if I just didn't do that. And like his first death, he had teleport. So yeah, he had burned sums, but he was able to TP back and not really miss much. And that right there, again, he's not gonna like miss too much, and he already has a relatively established lane lead. I think with Warwick, Warwick is great with the lead, but the time, especially with lane Warwick, that you want to have your lead is usually going to be like, you want to have a lead over your lane opponent within the first 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, you know, getting a kill or two is not going to amount to much. But if you get a decent lead at like minute 7, you can just permafreeze on your lane opponents and like turn that one kill to like a 40 CS lead. So again, so making sure that you're not throwing your lead early is really huge for Warwick. And this applies to top lane Warwick as well. I know not everyone plays Warwick mid. Not everyone's a psychopath like me. But it applies to top lane as well. And that's actually one of the reasons why I don't like top lane as much and I prefer mid lane, is just it's more jungle reliance. So if you get camped early, it really can just mess up your game plan. Because you just like can't like, you can't really like control your lane as well in the top lane, I feel like. At least in terms of like getting an advantage, just due to the fact that it really is kind of half, like partially jungle difference. We get another kill on the Victor there. Trying to just, again, he's still trying to punish me hard, but he greeds a little bit again. It's a game of greed here. And now I'm actually in a pretty good spot. Sejuani is right here. I'm once again greeding for this tower plate. Use my E here. Force out the Victor TP though, which is pretty good. I'm kind of thinking about recalling. I'm actually not sure if I'll commit to this recall though, because this is not a cannon wave, which means that this wave is going to be crashed right away. And I go ahead and ward because I just want to make sure I don't dove. And I'm just trying to survive here. I actually used barrier there preemptively because I have PTSD from the time I didn't use barrier. Nice, force out his ultimates. And with my ult coming up, I actually have tons of kill pressure. Of course, it's very obvious that he has teammates nearby. There's no way he'd ever play this aggressive if he didn't have teammates nearby. But I'm thinking we can figure it out. We can try to kill him anyways. I thought maybe I was hoping that maybe I'd be able to kill him with my ultimate straight up before I get CC'd from Sejuani, and then I could use my Q and E to get away. If I actually had my Q up after the kill on Victor, I actually could have like Q'd past the Sejuani, feared her, and then just flashed away and potentially made an escape there. But sadly, my ultimate got interrupted, so I had to just go for it. But I thought it was kind of worth to go for there, just because it's a guaranteed 1-for-1 trade at the very least. Nothing's like there's a chance it goes really well, and then there's also a chance it just goes average. So no big deal. So I'm coming bot lane. Our bot lane lost their tier 1 turret, which means that it's time for me to side lane. And Nautilus is trying to set up to kill his MF. He tries his best. I'll give him credit for that. He definitely tries his best. And right here, I'm getting cut off from the Karma, so I'm going to try to like fake going around that way, make her commit a little bit more, and then loop back around. What Karma actually wants to do there is to literally just stand still. She doesn't want to like run at me. But they're never going to do that. They're always going to try to chase you or try to cut you off. Go ahead and shove out this lane. And now we're looking to just side lane and try to get a lead over here. This is like the real advantage that Warwick has over a lot of these mages. And one of the strengths to him in the mid lane is once you get to the side laning, like Warwick's side laning is obviously very, very good. And he is able to kind of bully a lot of these mages. It really just kind of makes his mid game a lot better. I guess that's one of the reasons I like Warwick mid, is because the side laning in the mid game gives him a pretty good mid lane strength. That said, they send Renekton down here, so my strength is definitely not fully there. I don't feel that's that intimidated by this Renekton because I think he has just one kill. But it's still going to be kind of harder to really whittle him down a little bit, so. But it's whatever. The one thing though about side lane versus mages, Victor in particular is actually kind of hard to deal with in the side lane, just because he has so much self heal and safety. So I can't just like walk up to him and kill him very easily. I don't really have angles to poke him very well, and I don't have angles to all in him very well. So I have to be a little bit more patient. I eventually can whittle him down if I'm like scrapping him with Titanic procs and lowering his health that way. Or I'm able to just find like maybe flank angles as he's trying to clear the wave. But it really is just kind of a case of having to whittle him down and not just like I can't just kill him straight up like I can a lot of mages. So I use my Q as a dash there to try to gap close this Renekton. My teammates are obviously coming. And we're just gonna go ahead and just try to kill this Renekton as fast as we can. Get another kill. 6 and 3 so far. Everything is looking good for me. My team though, well, my Graves is actually in a pretty good spot. My side lanes are not in the best position. Although, to be fair, Kai'Sa and Akali are champions that even when behind, they have the ability to just like hit a power spike and just kind of come back. Like Akali in particular, she just doesn't really need gold to be like a threat to the carries. She can always kill this misfortune in the back line, so I don't think it's a terrible position. But the one thing that is concerning for me is I am most of the gold in the team, and I don't really do too well into the enemy team. Renekton's a little bit too tanky for me. Karma has her shields, and she has her, which really cockblocks me a lot because Warwick lacks damage in his kit, so shielding damage from him only prevents... It makes it harder for you to get targets below half health, which is really bad for Warwick. And then he obviously has she has her W and her Q for peeling, which is incredibly annoying for Warwick. Victor has his W for peeling. And like slows and stuff with this kit. So it's just... And also Sejuani, of course, is very tanky and again has a lot of CC. So it really just comes down to they have like too much CC for me to really 1v9. They have too much CC and tankiness. It's a combination of the two. If they had a lot of like CC, but were relatively squishy, it'd probably be more manageable. But it's just kind of both those things combined is really not good for Warwick. Now I am going the Sunfire build, which is going to help with dealing with these comps a little bit more. It'll give me more tenacity. It'll give me more ramping damage. So that's even if I'm getting CC locked a bunch, my damage will get really, really high eventually. We're kind of looking for this right here, but I don't want to go for it because I know that he has teammates coming. Flash follow this Karma. So we decided, yeah, we don't really care about Victor there. We're just trying to like cut them off. And this fight is going actually really, really well here. Really, really well. Managed to flash on Humanoid. Pick up the kill. We're 7 and 3. 7, 3, and 4. And we're averaging about 7.5 CS per minute. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, but we are down dragons, and again, I just feel like our comp, like the gold being on me is not good for our comp. Just because of the fact that it's gonna be too hard for me to 1v19 fights. At the very least, like, or at the very most in these team fights, especially considering the enemy team is pretty strong, I'll be able to like pick up like 1 or 2 kills by myself, but not much more. I need a lot of backup for my team, and I feel like that we just don't have many options as we scale up because we lack tankiness, and honestly, frankly, we really like, kind of lack damage. Even though we're like a full damage team, we really lack the ability to kind of shred these frontliners. And we're also pretty short range, so that's gonna be a problem. Right there, incredible read by me, trying to push out. I feel the pressure of you know, the situation we're in. We're definitely behind quite a bit of gold, and again, we get outscaled. So I'm trying to make the most out of it. I didn't think I was gonna collapse on like that, and we ended up giving up Baron as a result. So that was definitely a pretty crucial mistake by me.
I almost felt that.
I don't think this game was in a very favorable position before then, but that definitely makes it worse. Like, maybe we could have found an angle to actually like take a winning team fight and then get the Baron, and kind of could have potentially like tried to like turn this game on its head. But that's just going to make it like really, really hard. Now we have to win a couple fights to actually come back. Well, like if we just 5-0 ace them right now, if we just randomly 5-0 ace them right now, we're still going to be behind the next fight. So it's going to be a little bit. Not to mention, Soul is coming up. 2 minutes away, they got Soul, and that's going to make them tankier, which is, again, is not something that I'm really looking forward to here. A lot of times when I am playing versus shield champions, I'm playing against, you know, maybe they got like Victor and they got Karma on the same team, and I'm worried about the shields. A lot of times I'll actually go for a Serpent's Fang when paired with my Titanic Hydra, because I can just apply anti-shield and an AoE cleave. But again, they have so much hard CC and they're very tanky, meaning that I really need to kind of spec more into tankiness. So my build isn't even that optimal. Like, I can't afford to build Serpent's Fang to cut through the Karma, in particular, just due to like the fact that like I need the tankiness more versus their team. So that is definitely a huge problem I have to deal with. And right here, I'm trying to think about, do I try to cut off the Victor, or do I try to cut off the enemies in the mid lane? And I decided that I think that cutting off enemies in the mid lane could potentially be better, although kind of indecisive here. Turns out they have a ward in the situation, and my god, like that is right there is a perfect example of what I'm dealing with. I do not deal damage to them, and I just get locked up. So I don't really have like. I thought right there, surely I could just kill the Sejuani really easily, and then probably like ult one of the carries or something. But I couldn't even kill the Sejuani, so it was kind of a really rough spot for me there. Even though I'm supposedly pretty fed, I do not feel fed at all, and that's because Warwick's strengths really kind of relies like, or is like Warwick's like power feels more relative to the enemy team than anything. He's not a champion that really just like hits a power spike and that's when he's strong. It's more of like, how much stronger is Warwick than his opponents? If you're weaker than your opponents, then you're going to take too much damage, not really utilize your healing, and you're going to struggle to bring targets to, you know, below half health for your W. And half your kit is your W attack speed and your healing. So that's kind of the problem. I vote no on the FF votes. I don't feel optimistic about this game at all, but figured I'm strong, maybe. And also I'm playing as Humanoid, so honestly, like, I don't really care. If I'm playing as a pro player, for the most part, I'm gonna want to try to fight. Something to work out. And right there, you can see I'm useless in these fights. Absolutely useless. I think this is like a classic team comp. Kali though is kind of popping off. This is what I'm saying. Kali, even when behind, can still do some damage. But this is, like, I guess, the classic, like, you know, example of probably what makes people say that Warwick, you know, falls off. People always say Warwick is early game champion falls off really hard and he's just trash. Which isn't really true at all. And it especially hasn't been true since season 11. He's very, very strong late game, actually. Very, very strong. Almost Jax-esque at times. It just kind of depends on the team comp, though. Like, against these classic front-to-back team comps, you have, like, a Victor, Karma, Sejuani, a tanky front line, and a backline flat to peel. These are the comps that Warwick actually struggles with. These are the comps where Warwick does not really do too much in a team fight. He does best at kind of locking down frontline divers or trying to dive backline carries that, you know, don't have you know, a bunch of shields and CC help them out. So yeah, this is kind of a comp that Warwick, like, this is not like the worst comp for Warwick to play versus in general, but once we get to these late game team fights, and I have all the gold, it's nearly impossible for me to carry these fights. It's really going to take like some absolutely embarrassingly bad misplays from the enemy team to lose a team fight versus us at this point. And not to mention, like I said, we have to win multiple team fights. So actually right here, we do make a pick on Victor, which frees up the map quite a bit. I'm just trying to farm up whatever I can. I don't feel like I really have kill pressure or anything. I don't feel like I can actually like roam and make a play. I think right here I was thinking about maybe going top lane and trying to do something. But Renekton has TP, right? Actually need to see. I think I'm staying up here because I know Victor has TP. Or not Victor, Renekton has TP. Or maybe I'm just trying to take the 1v1. I can't remember. Oh no, he doesn't have TP. I'm just trying to take this 1v1 and try to get a kill somewhere. Because this is the only advantage I have is a 1v1 with someone. I'm not going to be able to win the fight if I'm grouping with the team. So I'm just trying to bait this Renekton into doing something stupid. And I am taking the fight. Got plenty of spells to use as bait. And we do end up getting the kill. So we do end up winning the 1v1 here. We actually draw to Sejuani bot side as well. And I'm just trying to get away. Trying to get away. Failing to do so. They got too much movement speed, too much slows to lock me down. Flashing there probably wasn't ideal. I should have maybe just tried to greed and hope that I could flash with the wall as opposed to... Because I just don't have like a way of escaping. Warwick's base movement speed is pretty low. And they have like dashes and slows to keep me down. So there's just no way I'm going to get away there. It's definitely kind of a wasted flash. Although to be fair, it's... You know... I guess it was, you know, the effort was there. Nautilus gets caught out here somehow. I don't even know what happened in this position. Like, how did Nautilus even find himself here? He's got new teammates around. Teammates are flaming each other. It's that time of the game. It happens in every single game. Or everyone just starts blaming. This is when everyone's mentally given up. Yeah, okay, so we're going for Anathema's Chain. Kind of an uncommon item for me, not gonna lie, but I believe my thought process is Victor's fed. It's gonna be hard to kill the Victor, so I'm gonna go ahead and just put Anathemas on the Victor and then just focus on killing the Misfortune. Then I can deal with basically two of the carries at once. So normally I don't really get the Anathemas just due to the fact that I can just kill the carry that I have a problem with. Or, you know, just build other items to deal with them more reliably. But Victor in particular is going to be a problem the entire game for me here. So I think that Anathemas is good. Plus, I actually like the build path. It also gives me more health that scales with my Sunfire. So I get a little bit more Sunfire damage off of it. And I really need the damage. So this is not just defensive power. This is also damage in a way. So that's kind of what we're preying on in this position. I'm just gonna sit in this bush. I think I'm waiting to see if someone comes out so I can try to 1v1 someone. I need picks. Again, I can't really group up right now, so I'm just trying to keep pressure in the side lane to stall out the game and make picks on enemies that are looking to farm. Of course, it's hard to make picks on really anyone in the enemy team. It's actually really hard to make picks on anyone. I have to like kind of do what I did versus Renekton there and just force them to mind control him. But the enemy team is starting to siege. Normally, a lot of times I like to look for a side lane push here, but they're obviously looking to try to make a game-ending play. And it's frankly just GG to this position. Everyone gets caught out. I can't really do anything about the siege. Warwick is horrible at siege situations, offensively or defensively. Cannot deal with the siege at all, which is why I have a tendency to play in the side lane. I flame my graves, deservingly so, but once again, I definitely made a lot of mistakes in my own right, so just keep that in mind. Game was possibly winnable if I played a little bit better, but definitely in a tough position, regardless, because at the end of the day, I did play pretty well, and I just kind of had trash teammates, but whatever, that's the way still it goes. But yeah, that was my game versus Humanoid, Warwick versus Victor matchup. We basically have the same score, and it was really fun going versus Humanoid because he was actually such a strong laner, and that was like his laning phase was stronger than really any Victor that I've ever seen. So I think it was really fun to play versus Victor, and I hope hope that I can play versus more pros while everyone's still here.